Hey everybody, and welcome to my shop. As you know, I love nothing more than to work with what I have and turn scraps into something beautiful. And this week I want to start building a new dining room table. The first step, of course, is the tabletop. And my idea is to use this pile of white oak offcuts and this piece of stained plywood and turn it into a beautiful tabletop. I want to go with an oval shape because I think it looks more interesting, it fits the living room better, and also it is a little bit more challenging for me to build. So let's cut an oval. Next, I need to find a way to use all of these oak cutoffs because they pretty much all have a different size, and I need to find a common denominator, cut every piece to exactly that size so I can later form a uniform tabletop out of this. I guess this is one of those projects where it really pays off to be a hoarder. Actually, it's not hoarding if you have a system. Since the oak we started with was pretty thick and we just cut it into two pieces, we can now do something that we call book matching. That means you have the piece, you cut it in half, and when you open it, it is a complete mirror image of itself. And that looks super interesting when you glue it up in sequence. So it is one mirror image of itself. All the wood is cut, it is all laid out, and it is now that I realize I don't have enough wood. It's just maybe half of what I need. But looking at the pieces, they are still pretty thick, and I think I could book match them again, which would mean I would end up with a tabletop that has 4 book matched quarters. I think it will look absolutely incredible. The only problem is my big bandsaw is a little bit wonky after the move. It's not perfect for resawing. It does not cut straight enough for this. But lucky me, I am friends with the best tool shop in town, Eagle Tools. And they said, we have a big bandsaw, it's perfectly set up. Come over and cut all of your pieces at our place. I ended up with almost 120 pieces, and now I need to order them so they're all in sequence and lay them out so I can see the pattern, and this is where we'll get the first glimpse of how this tabletop is going to look. But before we get into that, let's hear it from this week's sponsor. This week's video is brought to you by Millernote. Millernote is a tool for organizing creative projects, and I really try to use it as much as possible for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is I like to document my process. I draw photos, sketches, and dimensions throughout the build so I can look back later and remember how I did things. And it's very helpful to stay organized throughout multiple projects. The second reason I love to use Millernote is to Organize my inspiration. If I see something that I like, I take a screenshot, I save it in Milanote. If I have something that inspires me, just a note of something, or timetables, links to where I can find materials. You can actually have like Google Maps in there. You can save YouTube videos, all the things that I need to keep things inspired and going and organized. Milanote is perfect for that. And Milanote just relaunched their mobile app, which means when I'm out and about on the go, I can just take up my phone and, oh, I need to remember to buy glue. This is where I can get it. I just drop it in the boards where I need it. And when I get to the studio, everything is synced and updated, and I don't forget to do these things, these tasks that really help me to keep a project going. And if you're not sure where to start, Milanote has over 100 built-in templates for all kinds of creative work, from storyboards to mood boards or to project briefs. Whatever you could think of is always a good starting point. If that got your interest, I'd say just check it out. It's absolutely free to get started, and there's a link in my bio. Back to the project, let's glue up those quarters. The pieces look absolutely gorgeous, and we need to do a little bit more preparation, but then we can move on to the big glue up. But all 4 pieces need to fit perfectly together, so I just need to make sure all the sides are cut and at a perfect angle. It worked out. All 4 pieces came together perfectly, and the double book matched pattern just looks gorgeous. There is one teeny tiny mistake. I will talk about it in a little bit, but next I want to do the edge banding, and then we can move on to my favorite part of the process, oiling it. The oil made the grain pop so beautifully, and it really revealed this double book matched pattern. I love it so much. I think the geometric design and the warmth of the oak, it just looks so good. This was probably the most complicated glue up of my life, and it was absolutely worth it. 3 days of just working on this glue up. And now let's talk about this one little thing that I did mess up. While I glued up each 4 pieces, I never saw them all at the same time. So I solely relied on numbering each pieces to make sure they are in the right order so they would book match. And for some reason, I had a twist between 20 and 19, and there are 2 pieces that don't line up but I couldn't snap it apart because sometimes the glue joint is actually stronger than the wood, and that would mean chances were probably 50-50 of the pieces just snapping where they're supposed to snap or snapping somewhere else. And that would mean I would have to cut it out, and that would alter the size of the table, and to me it wasn't worth it. And also, I want to practice what I preach: every defect gets respect. Stuff like that happens. I had 120 opportunities to mess up, and I only messed up once. So that is good in my book. Anyways, next week I'm gonna build the base for this, and I have some cool ideas. I want to keep it pretty straightforward and honest, but I think this table will come together so nice. I'm already very proud of it, and I think I have an idea for a teeny tiny feature that my kids would probably enjoy, maybe Smudo, we'll see. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed the biggest glue up of my life, and as much as I will learn to live with this little mess up, and I will see you next week with a new video.